It was a beautiful Thursday morning. I had just gotten the car of my dreams, a Tesla Model Y. It's literally the day after I purchased the vehicle. My girlfriend was using my car to travel around Brooklyn and walk dogs, as she has a dog business and walks dogs all day. The Tesla is a little bit different to drive than a regular car because it has regenerative braking. So because of this, I was actually driving with her throughout the day, showing her how to use the car and taking her to each of the dogs' houses. One of the dogs that she walks lives in Bed-Stuy. We pull up to the front of the apartment building across the street. She gets out of the car. Where I parked was kind of like an intersection, right? An intersection across the street, and the apartment building is directly across from the intersection. So we park right near the corner of that intersection, which is directly across from the apartment building. She gets out and walks towards the corner of that intersection to then cross the street to get to the apartment building. So as she's walking towards the corner, I see a guy crossing the street from the other side of the intersection in her direction, and they're both about to meet at the same time on that corner. And I notice him looking at her, and she's just focused on the apartment building and getting across the street. And as she's walking, I see her looking way too intently at her face. And as he's getting closer and closer, you know, I'm not thinking too much of it. I'm just like, oh, I have a weird guy that's just looking at her. But then as he passes her, he kind of like continues to look at her as he's walking past her. And I'm watching from the car. I'm sitting in the car as she's going to get the dog. And he turns and literally goes to swing and hit her in the head. Luckily, my fiance, I'm not sure if I said girlfriend, but we recently got engaged, so I'm getting used to saying fiance. My fiance at the last second moves. The guy's fist almost like brushes against her ear. I jump out of the car immediately and I start running towards the guy. He didn't expect that she'd be with somebody else. He obviously thought she was alone, otherwise he wouldn't have done that. So me, I have lots of adrenaline, right? I'm ready to fight this guy. Obviously, I'm somewhat nervous because although I've been taking boxing classes for like a year and a half, and I've actually gotten like kind of decent to where I feel confident that I could, you know, fight people and win against people that don't really train, or maybe even win against people that train maybe as much as me. I'm still nervous because in a street fight, anything goes. This guy could literally pull a knife out of his bag. He can pick a bottle up off the floor, slam it on the ground, and stab me in my neck. So as I'm running towards him, I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, saying like, yelling a whole bunch of expletives. And as I'm moving towards him, he's moving back. Again, lots of adrenaline. I'm amped up, but again, I still need to think about like living, you know? So as I'm approaching him, I'm like looking at his hands because I'm gonna fight the guy, but I need to make sure that he's not gonna pull something out of his pocket or doesn't already have something in his hands. I'm about 6'5", like 180 pounds, so I'm kind of skinny. This guy's also skinny, but you could tell that he's muscular, and he's probably like 6'2", so he's pretty tall also. Once I confirm this guy doesn't have any weapons in his hands, but he does have a bag. I'm not sure what's in the bag, but he doesn't have anything in his hands. I start to grab him and I start punching him. Other people on the sidewalk saw what was happening. They're approaching this one couple. They're actually recording with their phones and they're yelling like, oh, that guy tried to hit that girl. People are yelling from their windows in the apartment buildings. The guy's grabbing me by my sweater. I'm holding on to like the shoulder of his jacket. And again, I don't know if he has anything in his bag, so I'm trying to punch him. He's trying to grab me and throw me to the ground. At one point, he goes to grab my hips. I kind of sprawl and move back. I remember like actually saying like, nope, something like that. Like he went to actually grab me and pick me up. I was like, nope. I'll show the video really quick right here actually. So the couple that was recording, they got this clip right here. We're grabbing each other. At one point, you can see I throw like a decent punch to his head. So now I've been training, you know, boxing for a year and a half. And in between that, I'm not like wrestling people. You know, I'm not like a 16-year-old just like wrestling in people's rooms or fighting people for fun. It's literally just like boxing gloves, sparring, hitting bags. So with all this grabbing that he's doing to me, my muscle memory is just focused on like throwing punches. Now, this guy had a massive scar down his cheek. I'll show a photo right here of his face. The people that were recording also took photos. So while I'm fighting him, again, I'm also focused on not dying. And at some points, he's even reaching in his bag while we're fighting and grabbing each other. So it's very likely he had something in his bag, right? So just to wrap up the story really quick and get into the rest of the YouTube video, he's grabbing my sweater. At one point, he kind of pulls my sweater over my head, like, and over my eyes to where I can't see anything. I'm really close to the curb. As you can see in the video, I'm towards the cars. So as he's yanking on me and I can't see anything, he actually pushes me back towards the curb. I slip and fall. He falls down with me with his hand on my face. He kept his hand on my face. My head was literally between like a car and a sidewalk, and then quickly gets up and runs, right? I'm completely winded. He's grabbing me and stuff, and I'm punching him, and he's punching me and stuff like that. You can see the picture here. I ended up with like a bloody ear and stuff and like scratches on my face. For my ego's sake, I wouldn't say I lost the fight, but I also wouldn't say I won the fight. What really matters is that my girlfriend didn't get hurt. I didn't really get too hurt, but do I still think about it to this day and wish that I knocked him out? You know, after boxing for all this time and having all this experience, I'd been in like 3 other fights total, so like 4 fights by now, street fights that is. I want to be able to say that I could protect my girlfriend. Obviously in this case, I guess to some degree I did protect my girlfriend. I fought a stranger who had a massive scar on his face, most likely had a weapon. Guy looked like an absolute crazy person, which he was. No regular person would throw a punch at a woman. The cops get called, they come, turns out he punched other women in the area too and actually hit them in the face. So this guy actually was crazy. Now to get to the point of the video, how did this affect my life? How did this affect my business? With the training that I've been doing, the sparring and stuff like that, I felt confident that if a street fight was to happen, I'd be able to beat the shit out of somebody. And the one rare occasion where I actually have the opportunity to fight somebody in the street and have a real reason to do so, and if in the case I do knock him out, if in the case the guy dies, it was justified. I don't invite things like this into my life, but things happen, especially in New York. I'm sure you guys have heard of all the craziness happening, all the crime and stuff like that. But this gave me a new perspective, right? I'm training, sparring, finally get into a fight. I don't absolutely demolish the guy. I end up on the floor. How does this translate into business? Now, I've paid for over $46,000 in mentorship, okay? Programs, courses, having coaches to look at my advertisements, tell me what to post, scripting my videos, using different softwares, building out automations, building out funnels, all these different websites. business. I spent a lot of money in getting better and better. Same thing with the boxing. I was spending $500 a month for a personal trainer, and I was paying $200 a month for the gym that I was going to, Gleason's Gym over in Dumbo, Brooklyn. So to compare the two, I'd spent a lot of money in both and came to the realization that no matter how much money that you spend, how much effort that you spend, when it all comes down to it and shit hits the fan and you're under pressure, that's where you really see what you're made of. And in fact, that's where you actually learn the most. Okay, I can't name the probably hundreds of times by this point that I've been under massive pressure in my business because I've been over leveraged, or a deal fell through, or refunds came through, like chargebacks or things like that, which that's what happens when you're at this scale. By this point, I've touched over $50,000 a month. I have a business that I run ads for that I've at some point spent over $20,000 a month on advertising. Have a team that I pay for to help with running ads for the people that we work with, hiring virtual assistants for the people that we work with, general customer service, video editing, graphic design. This video right here is getting edited by a virtual assistant overseas. And when you have to keep up with expenses while growing your business, and when you have those slow periods that you can't control, no matter how much training you have, no matter how much money that you spent, you still have to deal with that pressure. And these are times that no amount of training can prepare you for. You have to roll with the punches. Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. When you're trying to grow a business to hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and you're doing more than the average person is doing, typically you'll have a plan, you'll have an idea of how you're gonna get there. 99.9 times out of 100 times, the way you grow your business is not going to happen the exact way that you've planned it. There's so many different variables, and as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, there's so many different ideas that you get, not only throughout the year, but throughout the month, week, and day, and literally hours. Even before recording this video, I've had a million ideas that I've wanted to run through and start to create. But you'll learn as you go on in business that it's not about the amount of things that you say yes to, it's about the amount of things that you say no to, and how focused and dialed in you can stay. Because the people that grow the most in business and in anything in life are the people that stay focused on one, maybe two or three things. It's the people that have been doing the same thing and are known for the same thing over the course of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Those are the people that get massively successful. All we could do is try to get better, try to be better. After having this fight, I went and started doing Muay Thai, okay, basically kickboxing, and I've gotten pretty decent at that. Next thing I'll try to tackle is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. All I can do is try to get better. I'll continue to invest in mentors. Diamonds are made under pressure though, okay? So I need to spar more, right? In terms of mixed martial arts. With business, I just need to go through the roller coaster that is business, understand the ebbs and flows, and be better on the other side of that. But yeah, that's my story. I wanted to make use of it, wanted to create some sort of analogy with business. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. More than happy to make more videos like this. Like it if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos about business and actual strategies and techniques. If you have an online business or you're a realtor and you can make use of virtual assistants for only $5 an hour, running advertisements, text automations, email automations, building out funnels, tracking KPIs, and you want access to my 9 courses, and you also want direct access to me on a weekly basis, I do group calls, and you can get access to all these things in my school community, which is only $37 a month, which is going to be jumping up to $197 a month soon. So definitely join now while you can. That's it. I'll see you in the next video.